I'm joined here today by the one, the only, of course, talking about Julio Arce, set to take on Song Yadong coming up November 13th. What's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. We're glad to hear you're doing great. Off the top, I have to ask the boring question to kick things off, but how's training camp going for you so far?
Intense, amazing, and the way it has to be done.
Who are some guys that you're working with? I assume you're over at Tiger Schulman.
Yeah, I mean, I got the likes of Shane Burgos, Mike Trezano, Jimmy Rivera. I have one of my teammates who he actually turns pro on October 22nd, Rob Barricchio, and I got plenty more. So I got a squad full of killers.
We're glad to hear it, man. And it seems like things are finally going back for you fighting wise, because we know you had to take that break sort of from 2019 to 2021. How does it feel to kind of get back into the flow of it?
It feels fantastic. Like it was. Although the break, it was actually like a blessing in disguise for me. But on that, it feels good to just be back to fighting, back to business.
So what are you doing during this break? I assume you get a chance to sort of heal up your body from. I know a lot of fighters they get a lot of hits and knacks and stuff like that. What are you sort of doing during that break?
After this fight, the fight I just had, I didn't really take much of a break. I really just went right back into it because I want to pick up from where I left off and just get back into the swing of things. Normally, depending on the outcome of the fight, I would take like a week break, heal up a little bit. But honestly, after the last fight, everything felt good. Just have to get a couple of stitches to close a cut from the fight. But other than that, nothing crazy. And then just right back to business, right back to training.
When you take the week off during the break, what does the diet look like? Because I assume we always hear from fighters like the diet just goes completely out the window during the break. How is that for you?
You know what? If I'm gonna take a long break, I'm gonna make sure I splurge and I enjoy. I mean, I'm gonna talk about like you enjoy everything. You name it, I'm gonna make sure I'm eating whatever I can, enjoying. But then once I know it's like, all right, time to get back to it, it's back to just strict dieting. But for this, I've just been completely just on point with everything and just been disciplined about it. So I made sure I didn't like go crazy. I enjoyed like a couple of things and then boom, right back to it.
You mentioned your diet. Do you have a nutritionist, or have you done this sort of long enough that you kind of know what you have to be eating?
I actually have Eric Pena. He does Pena Nutrition. He works with a lot of the other fighters, and he works with me as well. He's been helping me a lot with my nutrition and just making sure that the weight cut is not, some people make it like grueling. It's like he helps me make it so easy. So, props to him. He's been great help.
Well, what's the process for you in the weight cut? Like, what can you sort of tell us? Like, I know some guys, most people, they go with the water loading and stuff like that. They bring in the gallons of water on the plane and everything. What's kind of your process?
For me, like the during like that week of, it is that process. I'm doing the water loading, but the thing is, it's not torturous. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly eating, my body's fueled up, so it's not like miserable. Like how sometimes you see people like eating like one piece of chicken, like one string bean, or like the quarter of this, like the end of the string bean because they can't have too much. It's like no, it's like I'm having like solid meals, constantly eating, fueling my body, and I feel fantastic. So it feels great.
What's the food you're eating the most? I assume with fighters, people sort of assume it's like the chicken, brown rice, broccoli kind of stuff. What's the kind of thing that you're eating the most?
It's a mix of everything. Sometimes, some days I have steak, some days I have fish, some days I have chicken, some days I have, like, um, what's it called? Like just, beef, whatever. It's like it's a mix of everything. So it's like I'm not like just chicken and this. Like I'm eating different meals and I'm enjoying it because like I said it's not. It doesn't feel like oh my god I'm eating chicken, rice, and vegetables every day, torturous. Like every meal is different. Every meal tastes amazing, and I get to enjoy it.
So you mentioned steak, and we know Twitter can be very judgmental about people how they like their steak. We hear Ariel Hawani, for example, he's like, I like it well done with ketchup, which is just awful. How about you? How is your steak?
I'm more of the medium rare. Medium rare.
That's a solid answer. I feel like that's the good. Like when people say it like that, there's like a certain respect. Like, all right, that guy knows what he's talking about steak wise.
Yeah, I mean, why the hell would I have a well done steak? It's like might as well eat plastic. It's like you want the juices, the tender, like a tenderness, like it's like it just gives it. It's like it's perfect. Sometimes you want your steak like a little on the rare side, but I don't mind that either. It's like it depends. But I don't not well done. It's like none of that well done stuff.
What's the kind of cut of steak you go with? Like, are we talking ribeye, something boring like a sirloin? Like, what are you kind of talking?
Like a New York strip, a ribeye, um, you know, like what's that called? A tomahawk steak.
Oh yeah.
Like those are good. Like oh man, you go to the right spot, it's like can't go wrong with a steak any point.
Unless you do the ketchup with the well done. I feel like that one. It's like, what are you even eating at that point?
Yeah, but it's like that's where I like start questioning him. Like, do I trust you? What kind of person are you?
That's
Well, it's kind of
absolutely
like when
fair.
people go like, if you chew your ice cream, it's like you're a psychopath. I'm like, well, can't all be bad. It's like people just like to chew their ice cream. That's a whole nother story.
All right, man. Let's talk about this fight a little bit. You're taking on Song Yadong, probably pound for pound as one of the best names in the UFC. I know Twitter has a ball just whenever they get to use Yadong in a sentence. Well, what were you thinking about when they sort of offered you as this next opponent?
I thought it was a huge step up. It's a great chance to really elevate myself because look, he's a well-known name. He's a hype. He, you know, you can say many great things about him, but for me, it's a great stepping stone because look, I've been fighting nothing but everyone fights nothing but tough opponents, but all my fights have been, first it was featherweight. People were like much bigger than me. Now then I fought Andre Ewell, who's Mr. Highlight. He's a big name in there. And now I'm fighting Song Yadong, who is going to propel me into the top 15. So a win over him is going to be a huge step. It's a great fight either way.
Do you feel a lot of pressure with that being said? Because it sounds like you have an opportunity. It's like you have to seize that opportunity, even though you have an opponent that's trying to stop you from seizing it.
Can you repeat that again? Kind of cut off a little bit.
Do you feel a lot of pressure heading into this fight? With, like you said, this is the opportunity to climb into the top 15 and sort of get your name out there.
Yeah, man. It's like now this is the time. It's time to move up the rankings and really climb the ladder. So this fight is going to be a huge step in the right direction. I can't wait for that.
So the training camp for this fight, is it just like any other training camp, or have you made some specific adjustments, for this opponent?
We have to make we have to find like the right partners. So each camp is like we have to kind of be like, okay, who we're gonna go with, who has a closer style to his, and yeah, it's like each of my partners, they all offer something different, which is great. And I've been getting the partners that give me the perfect looks for somebody of his style. He's very good all around, but I see some things in his game that can be exploited. So, we made our game plan, and we're gonna follow it all the way down to a T.
And so your last fight, you came back from that 2-year layoff. You get the TKO victory, best case scenario. Do you believe in ring rust after going through that? Because I feel like we get some very strong opinions when it comes to that stuff.
Everybody's different. To me, I don't believe in ring rust. I was out for a while, but I think it's just like with the kind of mindset you go in with. Like if you prepare everything and you just go in like I left no stone unturned, then you go in there, it's like good. So I mean, after my last fight, my whole focus like that's my only focus. That's all. It's like I've been trained like look, no distractions, no nothing. Like I'm eating, breathing, sleeping, everything. Everything is about fighting, and that's all I want to do. Like I want to fight, and I want to move up, and I want to get closer to title contention. So, and just like every other fighter wants. So in order to get there, you got to sacrifice, and you got to make sure you're putting your mind into it as well. So for me, like I want this badly, and if he's the next person in front of me, and I have to go through him, and that's exactly what I'm going to look to do.
All right, and so one last question for you. It's an obvious one. You hear it a million times, but that's how we end interviews. How do you see yourself getting your hand raised in this one?
Honestly, I never tell because I don't know. Could go a decision, could go a knockout, could go a submission. It depends what's given to me in the fight because we're going to be guns blazing in that fight.
All right, well, we look forward to it. It's going to be a very exciting fight, very big opportunity. Thank you so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course, my man.